Guten Tag, Albrecht here. I am a theorist, but not known as a great military theorist. I did, though, help FDR figure out that he needed the atom bomb. In either case, I was selected to provide some commentary on the military theorists Jomini und Clausewitz. The course covers four key theorists that shaped U.S. military thought. On land warfare, Major General Antoine Henri Jomini und Karl von Clausewitz. On sea power, Alfred Thayer Mahan. And finally, on air power, Brigadier General Billy Mitchell. For the discussion today, we will focus on Jomini and Clausewitz. Jomini and Clausewitz saw much the same things in war. The similarities in their military ideas stem from three sources. First, a common historical interest in the campaigns of Frederick the Great. Second, long personal experiences in the Napoleonic Wars. And finally, they read each other's books. Clausewitz's great work on war was published in 1831. He did produce an earlier work called The Principles of War in 1812. Jomini produced a total of 27 volumes prior to his death in 1869. The integration of the works of Jomini and Clausewitz into American military thought took place after the War of 1812. The establishment of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point in 1802, and later the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis in 1845, significantly contributed to the professional training of United States military leaders. The influence of Clausewitz and Jomini ultimately culminated in the adoption of the U.S. Army's 9 principles of war: mass, objective, offense, surprise, economy of force, maneuver, unity of command, security, and simplicity. Jomini joined the French Army in 1798. He returned to business in Switzerland in 1802, where he began writing on military subjects. Rejoining the Army in 1804, he served in the Austerlitz and Prussian campaigns, Spain, and in the 1812 invasion of Russia. Jomini joined the Russian Army in late 1813. He spent much of the remainder of his long career, which lasted until 1828, in the Russian service. He died in 1869. The principle of war of maneuver comes directly from Jomini. Jomini listed 4 rules for strategy. Maneuver, to bring the major part of your forces to bear upon the enemy's decisive area and communications without endangering your own. Maneuver, to bring your major forces against only part of the enemy's forces. Maneuver, to bring your major forces to bear upon the decisive area of the battlefield or the enemy's lines. Maneuver, to bring your mass to bear swiftly and simultaneously. Jomini used the word maneuver to start each of his 4 rules. Essentially, Jomini viewed the battlefield like a chess game. Control 3 sides of the box and you maneuver the enemy into submission. A knockdown shooting match, Revolutionary War style, was more of a checkers game. You blast away until you eliminate the enemy. Not much maneuver. Like a checkers game, in checkers you kill everyone off. In chess, a good player, using maneuver, controlling the 3 sides of the box, wins without killing off his own or his opponent's pieces. Clearly, chess is the better way to fight. The final victory at Yorktown during the American Revolution illustrates Jomini's maneuver concept. George Washington did not have to kill off Cornwallis's army in a frontal attack. Cornwallis surrendered, like the checkmate in chess, because Washington's army and the French fleet controlled all sides of the box. Karl von Clausewitz, 1780 to 1831, was a professional soldier from the age of 12 to his death from cholera, a disease he incurred on active duty at the age of 51. He first saw combat in 1794 when he was only 13. He experienced firsthand Prussia's disastrous military humiliation by Napoleon in 1806. In 1812, he joined the Russian army to fight Napoleon. He fought throughout the Russian campaign and on through the wars of liberation of 1813 and 1814. We can boil Clausewitz's contribution to American military thought into three basic concepts: friction, cog, or center of gravity, and war is nothing else than the continuation of state policy by different means. Clearly, the concept of center of gravity is evident in the principle of war of objective and perhaps the principle of offense. The concept of center of gravity encompasses not just the enemy's armed forces. It can be a key item of terrain, logistics, the will to fight, economics, or even a key person or leader. George Washington and Benjamin Franklin were centers of gravity for the American Revolution. What would have happened if the British had captured or killed George? Would the army have survived? What if Ben Franklin had been eliminated? Would the Treaty of Alliance with the French ever have come about? Another example of cog is the Vietnam War. The Tet Offensive broke the will of the American people to continue the war. So a military victory by the U.S. Army in Tet became a defeat when the will to fight deteriorated and the Americans just packed up and went home. Friction is the alteration of war through human fallacies, errors, oversights, and the like. A recent example of friction took place during the Iranian hostage rescue mission in April 1980. At Desert One, a helicopter crashed into a C-130 during ground refueling operations due to errors and oversight in training. The accident was a calamity heaped upon despair. It was devastating, wrote retired Colonel James Kyle, the on-scene commander at Desert One. Clausewitz's final point, warfare as the continuation of state policy by different means, is captured by the United States' 1846 war with Mexico. The U.S. state policy was manifest destiny. President Polk attempted to buy what is today the American West from Mexico. When that was not possible, the U.S. state policy was continued by the different means: war. Later, when the U.S. needed more Mexican territory to support the rail routes heading west, the United States concluded the Gadsden Purchase, buying a region of land inside of what is now the southern part of the states of Arizona and New Mexico. The purchase was concluded in 1853. Mexico concluded this sale, maybe realizing that if they did not, the other means might be used to accomplish the deal. In future lectures, we will discuss Alfred Thayer Mahan on sea power and Billy Mitchell and air power. Auf Wiedersehen!